Hey guys, welcome to Dark and Glittery. I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm Jayme. Welcome, darklings.
Let's do this.
Okay. Today we have a really special episode for you. Episode 5.
All 5 fingers.
A full finger.
5, a whole hand.
Okay. Today's guest is a certified powerhouse. Her heels are high and Louis Vuittons. The standards are higher, and her Range Rover stays iced out like her patience for mediocre men. She's a VP of sales, soon to be president of the world, a respected leader, and a very kind professional woman who makes every room brighter and every team sharper. She inspires people without even trying, has more Delta Sky miles than you could dream of, consistently first class, and is genuinely just one of the most successful, grounded humans we know. But our favorite part, Heather, our little guest here, brings a little mystery everywhere that she goes. She has actual ghosts that follow her because even the dead recognize a strong-ass woman when they need to. And as for dating, no living man, not even the dead, have managed to match her energy yet, which is why she's here today to tell us that the supernatural is real, the struggle is even more real, and the dating pool is absolutely horrifying. We're going to dive into ghost dating stories, hilarious stories, and everything that makes Heather the perfect mix of dark and glittery. Welcome to Dark and Glittery, the one and only Heather Seiler.
Hello, Heather. Welcome. All right. My biggest thing right now is this ghost thing. Yes. We know how I feel about ghosts.
Do we?
They creep me out. I'm scared of everything.
Okay.
I know I couldn't have a ghost follow me around, so I am most interested in that part.
Yeah, let's
Right
get
now.
to that part.
Let's get to that part. Okay. All I know is that Heather has been followed by a spirit since childhood. Like, even the ghosts want to follow her around because she's so awesome. So I can't wait to follow you like the ghost.
Tell us your ghost story. Start from the beginning, though. Don't hold back. Tell us the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is super, super amazing. So yeah, whenever I was younger, I just remember being, a teenager, and I was at my house. I lived way out in the country, and I was at my house, alone for the night. And I remember waking up and just looking directly above me. And there was like I swear to you, it was like a dark black cloud. And I mean, it completely freaked me out. But then I felt the covers on my bed go taut. Like if somebody had stepped on the end of my sheet, and it completely freaked me out. I lost it. I told my parents. My mother is very religious, so she spent the whole next day just praying over my entire room. And then, all was well. Later on in life, I get another house, and I have dogs, and dogs can be super intuitive of just everything they see. I feel like they see things that you don't see. And I'm living at this house, and there were several nights that I'm just awakened by my dog just being really weird, doing this weird rough, little grunt thing. Yeah. And I would wake up and I would look at her, and she was very clearly bothered. And then I would watch her head on a swivel, watch from my bedroom door all the way across the room to directly over me. And she's just staring at something and laying across my body and just grunting and uncomfortability. She's trying to protect me. But seeing my dog's head just very slowly, literally watching something walk across the room was so much. It was insane. I even was dating someone at that time, and we lived together, and he witnessed seeing this. And we both agreed. We're okay, we've got a spirit here. And that has happened in multiple houses that I've lived in. And I've lived all over Texas. And I've seen this same thing happen. It hasn't happened in my new house. And I'm convinced, number one, at first it very scared me. But now I don't think it's a bad spirit. I've never, outside of the first time, I've never felt super threatened, and nothing bad has happened. But just this presence that has seemed to follow me around in different places where I've lived. And it's totally creepy and awesome, I guess. I don't know, but it was really crazy at first. Very crazy at first.
Yeah. So was it only like been a couple times at each place?
So when I was in high school and that first happened to me, it didn't happen for like a while. And then whenever I was living in that other house, it happened night after night after night for like several nights in a row. And then, maybe a couple weeks would go by and then it would happen again. And then when I moved out of that house, I thought, oh, everything is fine. And then all of a sudden at a new house, it starts happening again. It hasn't happened for the past couple of years, but I think I've always I don't sleep well. And sometimes like I awaken and I don't feel like I'm alone. Like I don't feel like I'm there alone.
Well, that's not what I want to feel.
Do you think that you know who this is?
I don't know. And it's interesting because like I say, I think it's a good spirit. I don't think it's like here to harm me. Although the very first occurrence when I was in high school, it felt very evil. It felt very like this is a dark cloud. Even the tightening of my sheets was just like something I'd never experienced before. That's never happened since. I'm just like, well, is there potentially like a transition? Like, did I have a dark spirit and now I have a nice spirit that's watching over me and following me around? It is absolutely absurd, but I've experienced it. So
do you think it's the same spirit?
I think that it is a different spirit since the very first time. Like I said, I think the very first time felt very evil and scary, but ever since then, it feels like the same thing.
Do you think that this spirit just wants to see you naked? Like I've had spirit interactions and nobody's ever dragged my covers off.
Yeah,
before.
it was like a tightening of my covers. Like again, like if somebody stepped on the blanket and it was honestly so scary. I'm certain this spirit has already seen me naked. I don't think that they have any respect for privacy, for sure. They definitely have.
Now, have you ever like gone to a medium or a psychic or anything like that? Like invited them in and say, hey, come check out this spirit that's following me around?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
I think if I ever come to your home, or we could get to the bottom of this case. We could have some sort of a seance and call this kind spirit to the forefront, and maybe he could come into my body instead of yours and I could relieve him from your home.
Then I'm not going. I'm not going to that seance. I'm out.
Out. It's nice spirits coming to visit.
They can't harm you. That's what they say. I mean, it's not a poltergeist, it's a spirit. And
she was held down by the spirit with the blanket.
Okay.
That's like, if my husband like traps me in the blanket, I start kicking. I'm like, you're trapping me. I can't move. So like, imagine if a ghost did that to me.
Yeah.
I'd be fucked up.
I would say that it was like body-wise, I felt like I was paralyzed. You're so scared. I mean, obviously I felt like I couldn't even move or like make a sound. I was just like, go away, please go away. I don't know what you are.
On our last podcast, we did this like Real or Reddit series. And one of the stories was that a woman in Ireland married a 300-year-old ghost, literally married him, and then divorced him because he wasn't holding his weight. And this was a true story. Would you ever consider marrying a ghost?
Jayme, I love and respect you, but that is the absolute most ridiculous question.
Well, listen, somebody else has done it.
You wouldn't be the first.
We were curious of what she did with this ghost, but apparently they can hold down your sheets. So she might have had, the right idea. She never really had to see him, be around him.
Yeah, it seems like a really good.
It might be something to sign up for.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be cool to be on TV, but I don't think that's the reason I want to be on TV as one of the oddest people to walk this earth.
Yeah, you get famous that way for sure. Okay, well, we love this story because we love ghosts completely, or spirits. So this might be a loved one. And also, by the way, it could just be attached to some piece of furniture that you've carried your very childhood to wear
something
to the last. Clearly not happening now. So think about the things that you let go the last time it came that you had brought throughout your entire journey.
It's actually interesting that you say that because I I haven't really carried anything. I mean, I still had my high school bedroom furniture from there to like that. I bought new furniture when I got into that house. And I even think back to like, okay, what loved ones were not with me any longer the very first time that happened? And like, there's only one. There's only one loved one I didn't have with me at that time in my life. And so I'm like, I don't know if my grandpa Denny is like just really out to protect me. He was like 5'5", 100 pounds soaking wet, but maybe he's just.
And it could be ancestors and ancestors like 400 years prior. Like all the angels
I'm really
are not.
We're going to have to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure out where it is.
Do you feel like a connection to this spirit at this point more so than you feel to any living man?
That is, yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. Maybe it's just nice to be wanted every once in a while,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be less stressful too. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. So speaking of things that haunt you, let's talk about men, which is the other horror genre, clearly. Even though some men are listening to this, we still love you. Talk to us about some scary dating stories.
Yeah, we have to live through you because we're married. So we don't get to do the dating stuff nowadays.
Well, I'll just first off by saying it is a struggle out here in the deep end as a 40-something-year-old woman. I'm just convinced that it might just be better off to just go it alone forever. Just me and my spirit, just walking around. A little bit of backstory here that I feel like is absolutely important. I was in a relationship for 15 years. And so that ended about 3 years ago. And since then, I've found just how difficult it is, where you kind of almost want to rewind the tape. You're like, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe we'll just go back instead of trying this new thing. But yeah, I've had some really interesting encounters. I have a lot to say about men on these dating apps and just men in general in this world as of right now. It's insane. 2 stories come to mind because I had just gone through a breakup and I waited until I was ready and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Obviously I have to get on the apps. Like what else do you do? I'm not going clubbing. And despite what people may think, you never meet anyone in an airport. You never do.
I don't think I would meet anyone in an airport.
No, I never have. I don't even want to talk to people in airports.
True. But I guess if you're there a lot, maybe you have to.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you're hoping for like this meet cute. I mean, Jayme alluded to my Delta miles, but I mean, I fly 2 to 3 times a month. So I'm like, the airport's where it's got to be. And it just doesn't happen that way. But I did join the apps and I had matched with 2 people very early on. I always told myself, like, I'm already juggling life and all this personality. So I can't handle like multiple men juggling. So we're going to keep it reasonable. And I had matched with 2 guys and one of them was, I think he was Brazil. It was either Brazil, a country that speaks like a Spanish dialect, basically. I don't remember which country it was. And we had talked for like a while and it was just a normal conversation. And then he had asked me for my number. And at that point, I felt comfortable. And need I mind you, I am very cognizant of who I give my number out to. I have zero problem saying no. And so I felt comfortable. So I gave him my number. And then he just called me out of the blue. And I answered. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to him. And the accent that I heard on the other end of line was unequivocally not from the country he was from. Unequivocally. And I immediately just felt so strange about it. And so I go down the rabbit hole afterwards about these bots that can call you if you give them their number and they'll record your voice and different things like that. And so pretty sure my first experience on a dating app was I was dating a bot, which is like par for the course. Of course I was.
And you gave bot your phone number.
And a voice recording of myself. So
now you're in Texas, right?
Yes.
This is my biggest question because I have a few friends who are in the same situation and we're here in Maine. Does every male have a picture of them holding a fish?
I love that you asked this question because it actually so I have some good friends here. A married couple that's good friends of mine. We decided to play a drinking game one night because I had 500 people in my Bumble that I was just like, we got to weed through these guys. And so we decided to take a drink every time. The first picture was a group picture, so you had no idea who he was. Or every time he was wearing a ball cap and ended up being bald. Or every time he was holding some kind of fish or wild game. And let's just say that I was just absolutely sloshed within like the first 100 of these. So yes, 90% of them have some kind of like wild game or fish or something in their initial profile picture.
I'm totally going to do this game with my friends because they're like, just swipe for me, Amanda. I'm like, all right, loser, loser. Okay, let's read about this guy and we'll go through the whole dating app. But so many times it's the fucking fish picture. And it's like, we don't care about you holding your fish.
Yeah, true.
But I'm going to start drinking every time.
It was a fun game. It was a fun game. And it was also very eye-opening. I remember the second time that, it's kind of hard to find somebody, and I use this very like loosely, but it's kind of hard to find somebody on the apps that appears like normal-ish. Doesn't seem like a complete asshole just by the prompts that they have, or just appears normal-ish. And the second time after, I dated a bot for a little bit of time, and I decided to go on a date with somebody else. And the first date was like fine. And then the second date, the third date, I ended up going to a place with his children. He had 3 kids, so got to meet them and all this stuff. And I had just really decided that we were just not a thing. Like there was going to be no romantic thing there. There was just such a difference of opinion. Kind of one of those guys that kept like alluding to like, if you were with me, you wouldn't have to work sort of kind of thing, where there's no respect for like actually wanting a career, which I find extremely annoying. Women, we can do it all, and we do it all. Yeah. I had told him, I'm going to be honest with you. We are not going to date. I do not see anything happening there. However, like I do enjoy hanging out with you, and you're new to town and I'm new to town. If you're down for being friends, I'm fine with that. That is a mistake. Never, ever, ever do that. If you're not seeing connection with somebody, just let it go. So we ended up going golfing afterwards, and he just gets hammered. And another thing I can't stand in men, if you cannot handle your alcohol, we are never going to work. And I remember like around the second hole, he said, oh, I really want your advice on something. I want to talk to you about something. I'm like, okay, great. That's fine. And then he never said another word. Continues to drink. By the time we get to the 15th hole, he's like sitting there and he's like, I'm really upset because I told you I had something I wanted to talk to you about. And I was like, okay, here's the thing. I don't care. So if you want to talk about it, by all means, talk about it. But like, I'm not trying to beat this out of you. We're not that good of friends. Like, I barely know you. And he was like, well, I was going to tell you that like, I'm seeing this girl and I think I'm going to marry her. And I lost it because I was like, dude, you have no business being out here with me. Like, I feel sorry for whatever girl that you're dating. Like, you have no business being out here.
Yeah.
So long story short, we finally got through the last holes and I was like, thank God, I'm ready to go home, or I'm ready to like be out of his presence. And he was like, hey, so do you want to go get something to eat? And I was like, no, I'm going to go to this bar and drink these 18 holes away, and you have a good night, sir. And he stayed in the parking lot for an hour and then started texting me and was just like, I just really want to talk to you there. I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, we're done here. And he's like, that's so rude. I'm like, great. Then you should never talk to me again. I'm such a raging bitch. Like, bye. And he calls me when he gets home and leaves me a voicemail about how much fun he had. But this is why he doesn't drink that often. And I just ignored it. And over the next couple of months, he proceeded to call me and leave me voicemails to like go see a movie. He would then try to use his kids and be like, oh, well, my daughter has a volleyball game near your side. Do you want to come see us? And I would just like ignore all of these. Then he got a different phone number and decided to text me from that phone number and was like, I don't know if you're getting my messages because you have an Android and I have an iPhone. And I'm just thinking they're not coming through. It was actually it was so stressful for this like human being. Yes, multiple times. And then towards the end, I actually had to be a jerk. Like I'm like, I'm not a rude person, but for me to be like, dude, I don't care about your problems. Like, we're done here. And then he found me on Hinge.
I already said,
and wrote
we're
me
not
a message
dating.
on there. It was just like, I don't know what happened the last time we met. This is why I don't drink very much. And I was like, dude, I had to report him too, because he was like lying about his age and all sorts of stuff on his dating profile. Then he found me on Bumble. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a fear that I have for my friends, is like who they're meeting on these sites and how many are lying. How many are actually lying about their age, their profession, their status? How many are actually married, pretending not to be, and just want a little hookup? Like, Curious.
Well, and they'll do these things on their dating profiles where like some men will put like 35 on their age, and then in their bio they'll be like 38 or 40. It's just for algorithms because women will set certain age ranges and they want to see those younger women. So they'll make their age different and then put in their bio their real age, which I think is so ew.
Sneaky.
I have a really critical question though. When you went on 3 or 4 dates and then met his children and then you thought, this is it. Is it because you didn't like the kids?
Ooh.
No, so time out. Okay. To be real, I didn't have a problem with the kids. Like his middle daughter was a little intrusive and like asked questions that she shouldn't be asking when she's like 8 years old. And she's like, did you guys kiss? And he would just laugh about it. I'm like, this is just highly inappropriate. Like, first of all,
How did it eventually end?
he just stopped. I mean, I had stopped messaging him for months and months and months. And then even when he found me on the dating app, like I still just ignored him. And so he just kind of stopped. And I think that's something that people have to be very careful of is like, if you don't know this person, by goodness, do not give them access to your home. So like he has no idea where I live for. Like those are types of things that you need to be really careful not to share. So like normally we'll leave after them. So like I would sit in my car and wait to watch them pull out and leave. And then I would leave because the truth is, and the sad truth is like, you don't know this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really smart. I wouldn't even think like that. I really wouldn't. I mean, it's been not long, but I wouldn't even think like that.
Well, there was a few times that like with my friends who are dating, I'm like, you need to tell me where you are. Like, you need to tell me where you're going on this date and what time you're going to be home. And they're like, okay, mom, thank you.
yeah, true.
So the golf guy was not up to par.
Did he get married? Did he end up getting married? And what, this poor girl that he was
No,
marrying, but
He's not married.
clearly lying about that. He was lying. He was
He's
not going to marry
definitely
somebody.
not married.
I just
Yeah.
reported him like maybe 4 months ago, again, on Bumble for lying on his age. I mean, I would love to say that I'm 25, but I am not.
You could pull it off. You could say you're 25.
If the golfer is out,
Thumbs down.
is there any other stories you have to tell us?
Yeah, give us some good, bad, and ugly other fun
Like,
stories.
It's just comical because on the apps, I find things like very funny. Like guys will put in their profile, they're like, I'm not looking for a pen pal. So if you're just having a bunch of girls that you're like matching with and having a conversation with, you do realize that you should ask them out. So
Yeah.
if you're stuck in pen pals, I'm sorry, buddy, you're the problem. And then there's a lot of guys that'll put on their profile that are like, my day is fine, my week is fine, because they don't want your first message to be like, hey, how's your day? I'm like, are you a human? Like, what do you normally say to someone the first time you meet them? What's
Yeah.
your bra size? Like, what are we doing here? It got so bad that I actually was like, okay, you know what? Maybe matchmaking is the way for me to go. So I spent $6,000 on a matchmaking service.
A matchmaking service. Now,
Like Patty Stanger?
should we be matchmakers?
Definitely not.
I mean, I'm really good at swiping left or right. I could probably...
No, there's a big art behind matchmaking. Okay, lead us through the whole matchmaking, your process. You signed on a matchmaker, and then what did you have to do? Go.
Yeah. So you go in, and a lot of these, they do interviews of you. So they actually want to talk to you like face to face. You fill out questionnaires to see like where you rank on things like religion and sex and all sorts of these things. You fill out these, and then you take pictures. But my matchmaking service, like I don't get to see any pictures of the guys. So when I was doing it, what would happen is like they would call me first because I had to pay the premium package to just find out basic information about this person, to be able to say yes first, to get like a pre-screen. And all I get is their height, their hair color.
Pause.
Yeah, that seems like it should be
Hot.
part of the whole package.
You had to pay extra to... The guy was like...
Yeah, way more details.
I feel like that's like blackmail. I feel like that should be illegal. Hey, if you give me more money, I'll tell you what color eyes he has, how tall he is, what his job is. Like, no, that's blackmail.
Oh yeah. It's and I'm the idiot that paid it because I was like, here's the thing. When we hire people, we hire recruiters to like sift through resumes and give us the best candidates. I'm like, why can't I just outsource my dating life and do the same thing with it? So like I get they call me and I get like their height, their hair color, like what they do for a living, the things that they like. I can ask if they live like in the area or one of like the suburbs of the area. And then I basically just I'll meet with them or no, I won't. And so I was like, I'm just going to say yes to the first like 4 or 5 of them. I'm just going to say yes because I don't know what I'm getting into. And then so whenever I say yes, call the guy. And I will say the pro to the matchmaking service, like versus the apps, is there's like no playing games. Like the guy has to call you and set up a date. The matchmaking service calls you back and is like, did he set up a date? Did he reach out to you? When are you guys meeting? So there's none of that like sort of, oh, we're going to talk back and forth on here for a month until somebody says, hey, do you want to meet up? So like that's good. You just kind of skip all that crap. But every single date was an absolute disaster. I mean, there are some funny moments. The first date, the guy, I think he was scared to death of me. And we went bowling, and I'm a super competitive person. And I'm just bowling strikes because that's just what you do, right? You're out there to do that. And I beat him by like 50 pins. And I was like, this is never going to work. It's never going to work.
You suck at bowling.
You're the worst forward.
I can't do this with you. It's never going to work. But the second guy I went on a date with, I met him out for brunch and I'm sitting at the table and I'm like, so mimosas? And he's like, I'm going to get a coffee. And I was like, I'm going to get a mimosa. Like, I will be drinking on this scenario. Right. He started off and he was like, okay, you have 2 minutes to tell me, like, we'll set a timer. 2 minutes, tell me what you can about yourself and then I'll go. And I was like, actually, I kind of like this. This is fine. Like, to just kind of go through it. My 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm the oldest of 7. I grew up in this place and I have 2 dogs and I just built a house here and these kinds of things. And in his 2 minutes, and he proceeded to read me what I cannot only describe as a resume. He was like, I graduated with this degree and this degree and this degree. I've written 3 books. You can find them on Amazon. I was like, what is happening right now?
Check, next one.
Well, and then like the following question is like, what have you learned from your parents' marriage?
He said, like, hold on, he asked you that.
I'm like, I'm half a mimosa in.
The timer would have gotten me. I think if the timer comes out, I'd be like, I gotta go. What if I'm 2 minutes and 5 seconds?
Imagine if he was been like, oh, you went over. I gotta go.
I really wish that would have happened because that would have made for a great story. But also, I will say there are perks to being in sales. Sometimes I gotta sell things in 2 minutes, so I can do a lot with 2 minutes. Let's just say.
I mean, the guy wasn't drinking. You were drinking mimosas, and then he asked you about your family, what you're learning from your parents' marriage. That's a weird question to me. How did this end?
Well, we went our own ways. It's funny, and I say this like humbly, like every one of these guys has been like, I would love to meet you again. And I'm like, hi, yeah, no, good luck to you.
How many dates have you gone on in this matchmaking service?
There's been 4 official dates. You know, my 3rd date looked exactly like my cousin, and you like can't come back from that.
No.
Yeah, we just can't come back. So we can just skate right over that one. And my 4th date was actually quite funny because this guy, like, it's like he didn't understand the basics of conversation of like, hey, I asked you a question. Like if I were to say, hey, what's your favorite color? And you were to say blue, most normal people will be like, what's yours? That was not at all how this went. It was like, what's your favorite color? Blue. Crickets.
And then you're like, okay, I'll ask the next one again. All right. Your favorite food? Pizza.
Yeah. It was just, so I kept like trying all night. I was like, how can I relate to this person? Otherwise, this is just going to be, and you know what ended up being the best conversation, because I finally found a subject that he loved, was when we got to movies. And I had mentioned something about like, I had just finished watching all of the Harry Potter series. And boy, did he light up. And we talked about Harry Potter and Star Wars for an uncomfortably long time. But it was the only time I could get anything out of this person. I mean, I can talk about it. This is not a basis for a potential relationship.
Yeah. Were any of these men that you were set up with good looking? Okay. Like this?
No.
I don't understand this matchmaking service.
Is it because they're paying for it too? That's the thing.
I don't know. So they also have these mixers. And I went to one of the mixers because I was like, you know what? I got to take matters in my own hands. Because everybody's invited. I'm like, I just want to see who they have in their network. Like maybe I could be like, that one. I'd like to talk to that one. And let me tell you, it just wasn't any better. And it was like vultures. I felt like I was paraded around like a prized hog. This is Heather. This is Heather. This is Heather. And I couldn't turn my back without some guy standing right there. And I'm like, you're kidding, right? No, absolutely not. And I did meet a guy that we just did not balance. I was like telling him about, oh, like this is what I have plans to do in the next year. And he's like, oh, that's what's going to make it hard to meet a man. Because like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, so I can't have any plans. And he was like, it can just be like a little intimidating that you have like things that you want to do.
Okay.
That's like small penis energy right there.
And what's funny is that like after I met this guy, the very next time the matchmakers call me and they're like, hey, we have a great match for you. He has a fantastic personality. He's so attractive. We think you guys will hit it off very. And then they told me his name. And I was like, was this guy at that mixer? And they were like, yeah. I was like, I met him. I basically was like, I think I'd rather you guys just stop matching me. Like, you've got my money.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice time. But like, no more matches.
Maybe get a little bit of your money back.
Yeah.
That's what contracts are for, Jayme.
But like, wow. I feel like I could do this job. And just match poor matches and then just take people's money.
Listen, if there are any matchmaking companies looking to hire that are listening to this, Amanda is for hire.
I will say, when I was in high school, I did a great job matching people.
Okay.
They're still together till
I'm
this
not
day.
for hire. Yeah.
Well, I'll add to that if there are any matchmaking companies who feel like you actually have someone for me, I'm also available.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Heather is available.
Yeah. If there are any matchmakers out here, Heather is.
Throw her a bone.
She's there. Yeah.
She already got screwed over once.
Yeah. Because all these stories that you're providing to us, it is horrifying. It makes me actually happier. No offense, not like rubbing things in your face, but there it is of like, I'm happy to not be dating. Can you confirm that it's the Hunger Games out there? Like, what is this cruel dating world like for a woman like yourself?
I think it's just really hard. And two, where I'm in a time in my life where I'm not going out with friends to a bar on Friday night where I'm going to meet somebody organically. In fact, like I've made effort to go for like a Friday happy hour. And it's like, where have all the men gone? And by men, I mean like they're around, but they won't even approach me. I'm like, do I have a gigantic F off like stamped across my forehead? What is going on? And then you look at the apps and it's like, none of them will actually ask you out.
There's a lot of
like, that is like a norm. And then they like unmatch you.
Who's your dream guy?
What I'm looking for is just someone who can like match my energy, be a human being. Cause I just feel like I haven't even met like a human being. It's like it's their first day on earth.
Now, to give them credit, do you think they just because they've been out of the game for so long
I'm going to stop you right there. I'm not going to give one of these men a single little bit of credit. I was in a relationship for years. I have not dated since I was 22 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, no.
Heather is, I think, powerful in the sense of when she manifests something, manifestation is super powerful. Like, why didn't you just put out there Glenn Powell? You didn't say it, but I did. However, on the other side, we went to Coachella, Heather and I, and in the car, we were talking about who we would like to see the most there at Coachella. And mine was like Haley and Justin Bieber, right? Of course it was. And hers was Dylan Efron. And I shit you not, we literally get out of the car, we go into the partnerships office to get our lanyards for Coachella. And we come out of the office and who do we friggin' bump into? Who do we bump into?
Dylan Efron.
What the hell chance was that in the entire world? What chance was that?
Is he single?
No. But like, come on. 5 minutes prior, we said that. And never in a million years did we ever think we would run into him at Coachella, period.
There's a lot of people there. That's wild.
Yeah. So just keep manifesting.
I'd like to run into Channing Tatum, please.
No, I gotta say it for you. I've got the lucky card. I do feel like I've been very fortunate to meet like the most unlikely cool people. It's one little thing of like actually meeting someone to put in my life is so elusive. I've got to be doing something wrong. I have to be.
Mm-hmm. Here's the last question before we get into your dark and glittery moment of the week. But do you have any hope?
Gotta say that, like, yes, there has to be a glimmer of hope. There has to be.
There has to be.
I think you're going to connect with some of our listeners because they are in the same boat. You're not alone in this terrifying dating pool of fish holders.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, though, is I think that obviously you have to keep going. Like, as disparaging as it can be, there is nothing that's going to come out of you deciding to give up. Like, that's just not going to happen. And so you have to keep weeding through all of it, and maybe one day.
What a high note to end on. And now we're going to make it dark again, but then glittery. We are going to do our favorite segment called the most dark and glittery moment of the week. So Heather, what did you experience this week that was dark but had a glittery ending?
I think that it's so ridiculous to say, but every single night that I go to bed, I am just probably in one of the darkest places of just being like, everything is coming down on me. It's so crazy. So what's glittery is that I wake up the next morning and get to reinvent an entire new day. So it sounds so broad, but I feel like that's totally a daily thing of just like in the darkness throughout the day. And then the next day you get to wake up and have a whole new day.
Very good.
That was really mature and really touching.
That was actually deep.
That was really deep.
I don't know if my math was that.
Probably the most deep we've ever had. You want to go?
And it is nice.
Yeah.
My dark?
Yeah.
My dark was sleeping on a bunk bed with 3 children. Yeah, awful, right?
Ooh.
So, but I went home, got to visit my dad for 2 nights, and we went up to Maine and went to a football game and, our old stomping grounds where me and my husband met. So it's always fun reminiscing. We were spoiled, sitting in the box seats, things like that. But sleeping there is absolutely horrible. Like, I have neck ache, like things hurt.
It's grotesque.
Grotesque. There's just not enough space.
Mine would be I went to Aruba last week, which was extremely glittery. And when I was gone, I acted 20 years old and created dance circles and did the worm, literally in every dance circle inside these huge bars. People would tell us like, thank you so much for starting it. It was really, really great. However, I went to the chiropractor when I got home because I couldn't figure out why my lower back hurt. And now I know. Because of the wiggle, that's why. And so he was like, you should come back tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't think so. But I told my kid when I was gone, I would bring him back a fish. Clearly, I wasn't bringing him back a fish. So when we got here, I bought him a betta fish with this aquarium thing. It was like $100 purchase. He was so excited to name this fish on Saturday Pebbles. We woke up today and Pebbles is dead. Oh. Dead. And he said, this is the first dead body I've ever seen.
Aww. So
we're going to get another Pebbles. That's the glitter. But anyway, okay.
What's going to happen if it dies again?
We're just going to
YOLO.
I don't know.
You're just going to have like a secret aquarium in your closet just full of betta fish so you can just keep like replenishing.
It's really a science experiment. Like it really is. Like nonetheless, anyway, there we go. Heather, we enjoyed you so much on this. We think you might have given hope or non-hope to women across the country, but we have hope.
I know, and we'll help you find them. We'll swipe left or right.
We will.
All right. Well, I guess I'll see you guys in Maine here very soon.
Well, tell them all where you live, your exact address.
Perfect. I haven't been stalked in a while. Might be refreshing.
Yeah, I know.
Either the ghost or golfer dude. Someone could stalk you.
I swear to you, if that spirit comes back tonight, I am going to come back to the 2 of you.
Wait, we would do an emergency podcast if that happened. Emergency. Okay, that's a wrap on today's episode. Heather, thank you for surviving ghosts and men and pure chaos. And to everyone listening, if dating life feels like a horror movie, or that you're haunted in any way, you're in the right place. Make sure to like, rate, review, and send us your own dark and glittery moments so that we can spiral together next week. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
guys. We will haunt your feed every week, but only if you subscribe.
Join the squad. Like, rate, and follow and tell your glitter-loving friends.
Peace.
Bye.